Welcome back. Week 3 update. Good news, I've passed 3 trade day evaluations and want to review the metrics again on the evaluation process and see how I can incorporate that moving forward with these 3 new accounts. I want to look at the metrics here. You need 7 days to pass the trade day evaluation. Looking at the total profit here between 3 accounts. This is copy trading 3 accounts. And I will continue to copy trade these once they're funded, reducing the size down to 15 micros per account, and ideally just using 10 micros because the commissions can be a little bit much with trade day when you're trading the micros. Looking at the first 4 days here, got off to a good start on the first day. Only a 57% win rate though on that. Still not too bad. Second day, higher win rate. Had some pretty large losses here. Would like to see those under $250. And actually in the funded accounts, I'm going to put that maximum daily risk budget at $200 because there is a $2,000 drawdown in these accounts. At the third day, higher win rate. So I believe the longer I trade, the more my win rate drops here. So after an hour or two, my win rate will start to decline. So that's something to keep in mind in your trading. Keep an eye on how long you've been trading for the day. If it's past an hour or two, you might want to consider just calling it a day because your brain's not working at its peak level beyond an hour or two. At least for me, I know that's the maximum I can focus and perform and be sharp. Looking at the fourth day, 100% win rate, very good. A lot of gold trades lately. It's been a bit difficult, more difficult this week with gold around that 3,600 level. 3,600 level has been a key area, and we have held above that. However, the Asian session has been very difficult to trade for me. I was able to power through here and finish up. And this was just a flip day. Already hit the profit on the 6th day. So needed to get one more day of trading in there, and you can see had a bit of a drawdown there, but ended up the day in the green to pass the accounts on the 7th day with over $3,000 in profit in each account. Looking at the Zealous scores, this was actually up to 99.7, so almost a perfect Zealous score. I did have some copy trading issues on Wednesday where one of the accounts did not completely close the position, actually reversed me into a small position. I was able to work out of that, and that did affect the win-loss ratio here, which actually was a little bit higher. It was over 3.5, and the profit factor was over 8. But these are all really great numbers that I'd like to carry over to the funded account. You can see my new funded accounts here with trade day, 50,000. This is the email I received here from Trade Day. You can see once you pass the evaluation goals here, it should automatically send you this email. So just reviewing here, no more monthly fees. They are putting me into a funded SIM account initially. You need to email this funded trader at Trade Day to review once I've hit 5,000 in each account, 10,000, 15,000, all those milestones. I'll be reviewed for a move to funded live. I'll also be considered for a live account after my third withdrawal. So up to 20,000 in gross profit in each account. I'd like to look at the rules here before I get started as far as how the payout policy is. Payouts can be made from day one. This is a trap. You must clear the buffer before submitting a withdrawal request. So my accounts have a $2,000 buffer. So this is not a $50,000 that I can withdraw. It is $2,000 per account, and I have to get up to that $2,000 per account in order to withdraw any money. You can withdraw into that $2,000, but it's subject to a 50% profit split, so that doesn't really make sense. And why would you withdraw into your buffer, essentially, unless it was an emergency? Probably are better off just leaving the 2,000 in there and withdrawing anything above this. So this is very similar to Take Profit Trader. Trader split looks like the first $50,000 in profits combined across all your accounts, you're splitting 80% to you as the trader and 20% to the firm. 90% once you reach between 50 and 100K, and then 95% for anything over 100K. So this is really good on Tradeday's part because they're encouraging people to actually hold their accounts long term, which is great. This is how I believe all firms should structure their profit split. You can see with the starting account balance, maximum drawdown 2,000, balance required for withdrawal $52,000 here. They give some examples. So if you earn $4,000 in this type of an account, you can request the $2,000 and that'll be split 80-20. I'll receive $1,600 of that. If you request into the buffer and request $3,000, the first $2,000 would be split 80-20, and the last $1,000 would be 50% of that, so $500. Total of $2,100 there. Looks like their payouts are processed within 24 hours, and you can withdraw a couple different ways. I'm using Rise, which is great. If you want to sign up for a Rise Work account, you just go to their website, and then most of these firms will just deposit your money right into there, and then you can withdraw from Rise. They're really quick with the withdrawals with RiseWorks. I haven't had any issues so far. So back to these accounts, average hold time looks great. I do want to keep this under 5 to 7 minutes for my winners. Okay, I did have a couple long trades here, 15 minutes. All right, go into the overview, and this is really where I drill down on what I can focus on here moving forward. Biggest thing I want to focus on here is the hold times, 4 minutes, average hold time across all trades, and losing trades 2 minutes. So right where I want to be, 1 to 2 minutes losing trades, cutting those quick. If a trade's not working out immediately, then ideally I want to be out of that trade and cut it. And then for the winning trades, 5 to 7 minutes maximum, maybe leaving a runner, and you could see that I did hold some runners up to around 10 to 12 minutes there. P&L curve looks good here, and again, this was the flip day at the end here to get to that 7 days of trading. And then just want to make sure that I look at the intraday drawdown as well. These accounts, let's take a look here. Okay, so no drawdown the first day. We did have $365 drawdown here. Now this is spread across 3 accounts. Okay, so still within my $250 per day daily risk budget across 3 accounts. That'd be $750. Below that, I want to minimize this as much as possible when you're trading. All the other days look very good here. Very small drawdown here on Wednesday. And then again, this was just a flip day with a $20 drawdown. So this is very important to look at. Don't just look at how much money you ended up with, but look at how big of a drawdown you had, and making sure to minimize that as much as possible by cutting my losing trades within 1 to 2 minutes. As soon as I see that it's not working out, making sure that I'm out. I am positioning myself in an area, so that will mean that I'm not going to be necessarily profitable immediately, but it should be holding that area that I have defined as an area of interest to either enter short or long. Commissions here with the micros again, you can see pretty substantial. I want to look at this loss here. 14 micro contracts traded. I was looking for a continuation trade. Here it looks like, but there was prior levels here that actually preventing price from retracing back up to the highs of days. This is not really the best trade, because looking back at this, of course, hindsight, you can see things maybe that you didn't before and use those, maybe look for those in the future. But trending down, maybe looking at the 30 minutes, this would help. Okay, so you can see this is very good that I exited this and didn't hold, right? Minimizing my loss here. And looking at the 30 minute, you can also see that big wick off of that 640 level. So it looks like I attempted to go long when it looked like it was going to retrace. The volume dying out here. So you can see the short volume was really heavy here. That should have been an indication that really the trade would have been a continuation to the short side here, and you can see that's what actually happened off of the rejection of this level. Continuation short, continuation short. Shorting the retracements would have been the play, and just looking for areas to enter that made sense. So the long didn't work out, no big deal. I did exit that, and let's see how long I held this here. So less than 2 minutes, which is great. Important to look at the losses, make sure that they made sense. So I'm happy with this trade. This is a good trade. Just because you see red does not mean it's a bad trade or that you're a bad trader. This means that I'm a good trader. I managed my risk. I saw that my hypothesis was not making sense, did not work out here, and cut the trade. So not bad at all. Let's see if we can find a winner here to evaluate. Let's look for a winner here and take a look at that one. This looks like hardly any drawdown here and really good profit on this. Let's take a look. Okay, so this was, looks like during the Asian session here, moving into European Open. So this is a time when I do like to trade gold, and this is a higher low, so double bottom, looking for this W pattern, looking for a break above this and a retracement back to the 600 level, which we did here. You can see it did retrace to these just prior support, which became resistance here at that 600 level, big level for options. And like I've been talking about, this has been a very difficult level to trade around. So if you're seeing gold around the 600 level, would not recommend trading long or short. I would wait until it actually gets above that level, above the 615 or below the 590s, because this whole area here is an area of indecision. So this is where you'll wreck your brokerage account. You'll wreck your evaluations in this area, and this has been very difficult for me when gold is trading in the 600 area within 15 points on the upside or about 10 points on the downside. So you can see same thing, it just continues to really, when you think you've got a trend that's going bullish here off of that 600 level, it just fakes people out a lot of times. And somebody that was buying back here, trying to buy the lows, got wrecked. Boom. Somebody that was trying to buy the breakout got wrecked. Boom. So it's very difficult with gold right now at these all-time highs, pushing the 5600 level. Ideally, I'm looking for trades outside of that range, and that's really what I did here with this trade. So this is a very good trade. Seeing that higher low and trading it for a long back up to this area of uncertainty here. My settings here for the risk management, I'm only allowing myself to trade the micro contracts within these new funded accounts. These are the settings that I'm going to use here. $200 daily risk budget, reducing the amount that I'm allowing myself here each day. $200 per account. And if I hit $500 per day, I want to make sure to end the day's trading in each account. That would be $1,500. And that's more than I think I make after taxes driving a city bus for 12 hours. After tax, $1,500 for the week would be very, very nice for the week. So if I'm making that per day, it makes a lot of sense to get out. If I'm making what I make in a week working a full-time job in one day, then no reason to get greedy. That's huge. That's more than a lot of people make every month in a lot of different countries around the world. So if I hit $500 in each account, really want to stop trading for the day, be grateful for what I have. There's a proverb that states, whoever is trusted with little will be given much. So being faithful and trustworthy with small accounts, you can show people that you can be trusted with greater responsibilities. If I'm not able to manage these small funded accounts with $2,000 drawdown, then why would I be trusted with millions of dollars or be given more? Do that with your own accounts. Show that you can be profitable and responsible and manage your drawdown responsibly on these smaller accounts, smaller wins. $500 across 3 accounts split across 3 accounts. I like that much better than $1,500 in one account. Spreading my risk across those 3 accounts, spreading my profits across those 3 accounts. So you're being a good steward, you're being accountable, and you will be entrusted with more once you are able to faithfully manage whatever resources you have currently. So prove that to yourself. You don't have to prove anything to anybody else, but prove that to yourself. Show that you can manage accounts responsibly, and then you can level up. Looking at the sizing here, 15 micros And then on the daily drawdown, if I hit the $400, I want to make sure I preserve that profit. So if I lose 50% of that profit for the day, I want to make sure I lock out in green and stop trading. That's all set up here within the Guardian Angel software on Ninja. Okay, looking at the lock settings. Mistake I've made before, especially in the other funded accounts, is not ensuring that this is actually set and locked. I do have this locked for the whole day, not on Saturdays, because there's no trading on Saturdays whatsoever. And then making sure that if I do need to change something in here for some reason, it's only when the market's closed between 5 p.m. and 6 Eastern time. So if for some reason I do need to reduce size, potentially, then I can do that between those hours when the market's not open. But if I hit my daily risk budget, I'm not able to come in here and change stuff, because it's definitely a temptation as a trader because obviously you can come back from a $200 loss. Obviously, right? If you're averaging $200 per day, you can get back to break even. However, the one day when you're not performing very well or seeing the market correctly, and that turns into a $2,000 loss, is the day when you wish you would have had these risk controls in place, this risk manager in place. So making sure that I have this risk manager, pretend like this is a person telling you, okay, hit your daily risk budget, you're done, come back tomorrow, look forward to seeing you. That's what I want to have in place on all my accounts, including my personal brokerage. And then once you hit your goal, making sure that you are not getting greedy, you're not going outside your performance goals. You want to see consistent daily profits, and I think I've shown that I can do that here with the evaluation process. Moving into the funded accounts, looking forward to trading and getting paid out here, but not in a rush to do that. Think about if you started with a new employer, you would not expect a paycheck normally for another 2 weeks at a minimum. With these accounts, I'm not really looking to get paid for a month here, probably. Looking at how many days we have to trade left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So if I could get paid October 1st in these accounts, from these accounts, get my first paycheck, that's great. What would that look like if we're above that $2,000 buffer? Let's say to get to 2,500, divide that by 17 days, looking at about $150 per day, which is in line with kind of my goal there of about 200 to 250 per day with a $200 daily risk budget. So yeah, the soonest I would expect to start withdrawing money from these accounts would be after 10 days, and that would be about $500 per account, so $1,500 paycheck. And then once I'm above that buffer, that's where it gets a lot easier. As long as you're keeping your risk the same, you're reducing, you're being careful, making sure I'm not risking more than $200 per day once I'm above that buffer, especially to lock in place all that hard work and look at these like a fund that I'm managing longer term to get these moved to live where I'm trading real money. That's the goal here with Tradeday, and to get above that 50,000 to 100,000 level where you're making up to 95% of the money is yours to keep. So really looking forward to October and not wanting to be in a rush here with these accounts. Just look at them like a long-term investment an investment of my time, an investment with this new firm, and looking at once I'm above the buffer, anything above that, I can withdraw daily. So it's pretty incredible. So in October is really when all this work will start paying off with trade day, and to start withdrawing potentially that kind of money and getting actual potentially 5-figure months here moving forward just with these 3 small accounts. Starting small, just looking for consistency here and looking for consistent withdrawals. Once I do hit a $200 loss per account per day, making sure that everything locks me out so that I'm keeping these accounts long term. This is the keys to, I believe, trading with the technology that we have, with the firms that are available to you, is to be patient and trade for the longer term. Can you look for a day one payout? Yes. However, is that gonna be sustainable? No, it's not, because you're going way outside of your average daily profit. You're going way outside your risk budget. You're going way outside what you're allowing your drawdown to be when you're looking for a day one payout and trying to just make, like 4 or 5 grand per account per day. That's unrealistic. Does not make sense. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're wasting time. You're wasting your money, and you need to focus on what actually works long term. You'll know that by looking at your metrics, like we just went through here. So looking for $250 per day is great. 500 max, and sky's the limit once you focus in on what is actually working for you and incorporate that into your trading. That's all I have for this week with Trade Day. I will make another video, and I'll link that once I have that up, on taking a $1,000 account in my Ninja Trader brokerage and making enough to cover the rent every month just from having $1,000. Something that you can think about doing as well. Instead of putting your money towards prop firms, maybe think about just putting it in your own brokerage account, making $50 a day or $100 a day, and being able to pay your mortgage. So having your mortgage paid for free for life. This is something I'll make a video about. I'll put that out as soon as I can here.